Join me in welcoming Andy Clark. Hey, Andy, how are you today?
I'm doing fantastic, Steve. How are you?
I'm doing really good. Thanks for being here with us. Today, we want to talk about your book. It's called Getting the Whole Pie: How to Create More Profit, Impact, and Enjoyment in Your Small Business. But before we jump into the book, just tell us a little bit about who you are and how you show up in the world.
Yeah, thanks, Steve. I'd be happy to. So, I'm a Canadian. Spent the majority of my life in Canada, but about 4 years ago, my wife and I decided that we would take our four kids and we would move to Costa Rica. So, I'm coming to you today from beautiful Costa Rica, where we have really enjoyed living our life for the last 4 years. Although, as we speak, the Olympics are on, so I am cheering very loudly for all the Canadians who are participating in the Olympics, particularly the hockey players. But yeah, that's me, Steve, Canadian living in Costa Rica. And how do I show up in the world? Well, I hope that I hope that I'm leaving my mark. I hope that I brighten people's days. That's what I try to do. I try to be an exuder of positive energy, and in terms of my day job, I help small business owners get the whole pie, and what that means is I help them make their businesses more profitable, P, impactful, I, and enjoyable, E. So that's the whole pie. And if you like, we can kind of dig into what all that means a little further.
Yes, absolutely. I'd love to talk about that. So it's about how to create more profit, impact, and enjoyment. Um, do they go in that order, or are they just all three kind of together? You got to kind of do
Yeah.
them simultaneously.
So great, super question. Short answer is, a win anywhere is a win everywhere, right? So if you can increase your level of profit or impact or enjoyment, generally those tend to bleed into the other areas. But if you had to start with one, and you don't have to just start with one, but if you did, I suggest that it's actually more EIP than PIE. But EIP doesn't really spell a word. So that's why I call it the whole pie, because that just rolls off the tongue a little better. But in all seriousness, what I mean is that a lot of business owners, or a lot of people that aren't business owners for that matter, think that if certain things happen, like if they get more money or they create more impact or this happens or that happens, they have a bigger house, they do this, they do that, then they will be happy. Then they will enjoy their business, or then they will enjoy their life to a greater degree. But what I've found time and time again is that, having more money really just allows you to be more of who you already are. So, Steve, you probably know lots of people who have lots of money. Some of them are some of the most wonderful, happiest people on the planet, and some of them are probably not. And I won't use, colorful language, but there are some people that have lots of money that has not made them happy, and you can probably think of one or two of them right now. So what I really try to encourage business owners to do is to really focus on that E, on that enjoyment. Are you enjoying the process of running your business or not? If you're not, why not? What's frustrating you? What's holding you back from enjoying it? Is it because are you working way too much? Are you doing things you don't like doing and you're not naturally good at? Is your team driving you crazy? Are your customers driving you crazy? So really try to dig into where are those sources of unhappiness or frustration, and that's often a good place to start in my work with business owners.
That is a great That is an absolutely great place to start. So let's then talk about enjoyment. I mean, short of all of us just moving to Costa Rica, which might not be a bad idea, especially when it's cold and snowy. But short of that, I mean, I think a lot of people don't really know how to enjoy life. So
Mm.
do you actually teach people how to be able to really truly even know what enjoying life looks like?
Yeah, I mean, there are some of it is, just naturally who you are, right? I'm not going to change someone, their DNA. That's not within my power to change. But I'd like to challenge the notion that some business owners have that, enjoyment can be a little bit of almost like a skill, in terms of there are things that you can do, there are things that are within your control that will lead to greater enjoyment. So it's really understanding what is it that makes you happy, what is it that brings you joy, and conversely, what is it that uh, prevents you from feeling joy and being happy, and really identifying what those specific things are. And then once they're identified, you can take steps to do more of the things that make you happy and to do less of the things that don't make you happy. So, I mean, see you sort of nodding there. I'm not sure if you're getting it or if you're puzzled or not, but like,
No, no, I totally,
as an
it makes a lot of
example,
sense.
right? Like, as an example. So you have someone on your team, let's say, that's driving you crazy. They're either, they're not the right fit for your business for whatever reason. They show up late to meetings. They're not meeting their targets. They're not dealing with customers like you would want them to. So you have a choice as a business owner. Do I keep this person on my team? Do I invest in the training uh, to help them improve, or do I, say, hey, it's not working out. I think we'd both be better off if you were no longer part of the team. This is a choice that I see a lot of business owners make that, or they don't make the choice of letting this person go. Like if you can be confident as a business owner that you have trained this person as much as they need to be trained in order to be successful in the position, but they're still just not getting it and they're still letting you down as a business owner and it's causing you unhappiness, then it's on you, Mr. or Mrs. Business Owner, to do something about that. And what I see a lot of business owners do is they avoid having those hard conversations. They hope that this person's going to improve, rather than make that potentially difficult, to have that potentially difficult conversation to say, hey, you're better off somewhere else. And then on the other side of that, enjoyment increases. So you see what I'm saying? Like there are things you can do as a business owner to increase your level of enjoyment in a business. That's just one example. But what I see a lot of is that business owners can kind of get in their own way and sabotage their own enjoyment for all kinds of reasons. And so that's what I try to do, Steve, is to help, help business owners kind of identify and uncover what is blocking your enjoyment. Why are you not as happy as you might be? Why is this business not fulfilling the dream that you thought it would be when you started it? We identify those roadblocks and then we work together to make a plan to get rid of them.
So, and I know you said EIP, but I'm going to push back on you a little bit. If we get the E and the P right, does the I just kind of come along with it? I mean, do we end up making the impact that we really want to make in the world when we have the enjoyment in our business and we actually really truly create profit in our business? Is that a good way of looking at that, or am I totally off?
You're not totally off. How I like to look at the I part of the whole pie, so the impact, and what I mean by impact is that you, as business owner, through your business, so you and your team, through your products and your services, make people's lives better in some way. Um, that can be your customers' lives, it can be your employees' lives, it can be members of your community at large. So that's what I mean by impact. And I think that impact is it is nicely in the middle of enjoyment and profit, because it really, if you're not creating the impact, if you're not making people's lives better, because business owners generally get into business, at least in part, because they have this idea they're solving a problem. They want to solve this problem And in solving that problem for people, it makes people's lives better in some way. So if they're not meeting their profit goals, right? If they're not making enough sales of their products and services, that's probably because they are not making the impact that they want to make in terms of with their customers by selling their products and services. So they need to figure out then, how do I create more value, right? How do I deliver more value to my customer so that they will be more inclined to buy my goods and services? So that's how the I and the P, the more value that you create, the more you can make people's lives better with your products or services. That should translate into more money coming in the door, which is the P part of the equation, right? And it also translates into the E because it feels good, right? It feels good to make people's lives better in some way, right? Like, who doesn't want to do that? So that's why the I fits nicely in between the P and the E, right? It kind of bleeds into both categories.
I love the way you put that. That's a really good explanation for it. So let's move on to profit. I mean, I think a lot of business owners don't really understand profit. The question I'm going to ask you, I'll tee it up this way, and then you can take it whichever way you want to. But I think a lot of people don't understand the difference between profit and cash flow. You know, if there's money in the bank, therefore they feel like they're making money. But talk to us about, what does it mean to really actually run a profitable business?
Yeah. So both are really important, right? Profit. My whole approach is simplicity, and is to try to help business owners simplify the running of their business, because business really doesn't have to be complicated. And so profit simply is just your top line, which is revenue or sales. So it's all the money that comes into your business by people buying your goods and services. So that's sales, let's call it top line. And then you have to subtract your money going out the door, your expenses, right? For all of the suppliers and all of the cost of goods you have, and your labor and all of, your rent and all of that good stuff. And at the bottom, that's why it's called the bottom line, that's your profit. So sales less expenses equals your profit. That's the money you have left over after you deduct your expenses from your sales. That's profit. Very simplified definition of profit. But you want to have a positive bottom line. There's no sense having $10 million of sales if you have, $20 million of expenses. And a lot of business owners, that seems like a crazy example, but a lot of business owners struggle with that. They want to grow their top line. But if you're growing your top line, which oftentimes means that you're working a lot more, you and your team, but your bottom line actually stays the same or shrinks, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. So that's profit. How does it differ than cash flow? Cash flow is kind of your day-to-day. How much money do you have in your bank? Are your suppliers? So are you paying your suppliers on time? Are your customers paying you on time? It's the balancing of making sure that there's money in your bank account to be able to satisfy your liabilities and your obligations on a day-to-day basis. They're similar but distinct concepts. You want to have profitability. You also want to have good cash flow. And when I talk about P in the whole pie system, it really goes beyond just profit. It goes towards actually all of the kind of financial aspects of your business. So it would include profit and would also include cash flow, and best practices that are going to be able to help you increase your profitability, but also maintain good cash flow.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. And we all do like making money, but we also like to actually make the money and not just feel like we are.
Well, there's a lot of business owners, Steve, that I have worked with, and I'm actually married to one. And so if my wife listens to this, I hope she doesn't get too mad at me. But she used to do, bank balance accounting. She used to measure how profitable and successful her business was by looking at her bank balance. And that's not, that's one data point of a successful business, but there's so much more to it. And so I work with a lot of business owners to kind of help them with their financial literacy and to be able to understand that, yes, money in your bank account is good, but it's not the only data point. You need to look at all kinds of different data points in your business to know that you're, on the right path to achieving the goals that you've set.
Absolutely. So, obviously people need to go. The ebook is only 99 cents and they can get it anytime, and get the book, Getting the Whole Pie. But talk to us for a minute about how much deeper and how much more work you can do to help people really achieve getting the whole pie.
Yeah. So what the book is designed to do, Steve, is to allow a business owner to pick it up, to go through it. It's very organized. It's very step by step in terms of do this first, do this second, do this third. And it's very intuitive. And a business owner can really get a lot of benefit and really start moving towards having the whole pie just by reading the book. As a next step, if they're interested, myself or another whole pie trained coach can work one-on-one with the business owner or in a group of business owners together, which tends to be more economical for the business owner. But then we work together, like I say, either one-on-one or in a team, to provide that accountability for the busy business owner that may not, have the discipline to sit down and actually work through all of the exercises and learn all the material and implement it themselves. So I act as the kind of the coach, the mentor, to take the business owner through the whole pie system, so that at the other end of it, usually between 6 weeks and 3 months, they're starting to see those benefits of more profit, more impact, more enjoyment through this process.
I absolutely love that. Well, the book is called Getting the Whole Pie: How to Create More Profit, Impact, and Enjoyment in Your Small Business, written by Andy Clark. It's available on Amazon and all the places you can get books. I really hope that everybody will get it. Andy, thank you so much for what you're teaching in the world and for what you do. And thanks for being a guest with us here on the show today.
Amazing, Steve. Thanks for having me.